Download the BCSN Plus app today. Local sports all the time. Visit bcsnnation.com for details. Discounts may apply.
Well, the chase for the Kelly Cup begins this week as the playoff hockey is here in T-Town. As we welcome in Matt Melzak, the voice of the Walleye. Matt, thank you so much for joining us.
Good to see you as always, Mark.
We'll get to the matchup with the Indy Fuel in a moment, but before we look ahead, let's look back because Sunday, a very special moment as the Toledo hockey community celebrated the 50th anniversary of the Gold Diggers winning the Turner Cup. Many of those former players at the Huntington Center on Sunday. What a special 15, 20 minutes.
I mean, it really was. It was awesome. You heard the great ovation for those guys. And just looking back on that team that, wasn't very good in the regular season. They weren't. I mean, they were below 500. I love the fact that they threw in on the video that clip of Ted Garvin talking before the season. Well, we're going to have a really young team, but I think I can get this team into the playoffs. And sure enough, he got them in, and that's all they needed to do to go win a Turner Cup and win a championship. And, it's just the moniker of what you look at every year. All you've got to do is get in. And maybe your road might be harder, might be easier. Maybe if you're the last team in, you got to go everywhere to start. But you know what? You can still win. And that's the beauty of it because you basically wipe the slate clean when you go into the playoffs. And a lot of that stuff you've done over the regular season, while it somewhat matters, it really doesn't anymore when you get to the postseason.
We saw long lines of the fans waiting to get the autographs from some of those Gold Diggers as Gold Diggers won Turner Cups. The Storm won Riley Cups. We are waiting for the Walleye to win a Kelly Cup, and that begins this Thursday with the Indy Fuel, who they just played on Sunday. Indy and Toledo have been very close all season long, and now it gets ramped up even more.
Yeah, the first two matchups were both 4-1 games. They were closer than those two scores would certainly indicate. And then you look overtime and a shootout last week when the team was in Indy. And then on Sunday, here they go, overtime again. Very close. I know in the past Toledo's played Indy twice. Both times they've won the game, won the series 4-0. It would be shocking to see that again. This is a very good Indy team, especially defensively. They can really clamp things down on a team. So that's going to be what we're going to be looking for. Can Toledo get to the front of the net, get ahead too, because you want Indy to be able to break out of that shell a little bit and try to go offensively, which can give Toledo a little bit more opportunities on the offensive end as well. With that transition, we saw the goal from Gallant on Sunday was a direct result of that. Indy going and pressuring, getting an opportunity to the front of the net. Toledo, quick counter. They're right back down the ice and score a goal.
Let's switch gears, talk a little about the Mud Hens, of course. They were at home this past week. And when we talked about it last week, we talked about how the pitching wasn't quite there. Well, other than that first game against the I-Cubs, pitching was very solid for the Hens all week.
Yeah, it really was. And that was a lineup that you talk about that they had to take on that was legit, full of prospects. I mean, some nights they were running out 7 of their 9 players are in their top 30 as far as prospects goes. So, yes, the Cubs have a good organization, and we saw a bunch of those guys on display. And not only were they, prospects, but they were guys that are in the top 10 in their organization, ready for the major leagues. So it was some impressive work done by the Hens pitching, as you mentioned, outside of that first game on Tuesday.
So the Hens on the road this week. The Walleye will be home Thursday and Friday, both those games live right here on BCSN. And then the series shifts to Indy. And, of course, when you get in the playoffs, all home and road playoff games live on BCSN. We're talking about the Walleye.
Yeah, it's interesting this week, Mark. Both teams taking on Indianapolis with the Mud Hens in Indy and the Fuel coming up to Toledo. It's going to be a fun series. By the way, Matt Manning probably starting 2 games in that week next week.
Glass City taking on the Circle City all week long. Matt, thank you so much.
Appreciate it, Mark.